Okay, hi, my name's Andy Boon, and I'm the writer of Writing for Fluency and Accuracy. And I'm just going to give you a very short overview of the book. As you can see from the contents, there are 12 units, and there are 6 different rhetorical modes of writing. And for each per unit, students are going to practice fluency writing, and they're going to practice accuracy writing. Now, when you get the textbook, there's an explanation about the methodology behind the book on pages 6, 7, 8, and 9. And I'm going to explain a little bit about this for you today. Okay, let's take a look at the Unit 1, the first fluency unit. And in this unit, students are going to be writing narrative paragraphs. Students are going to start writing about themselves. So the first task is to show some pictures, and students try and guess what the pictures are, and then they can match the sentences to the pictures and say whether these sentences are true for them or not. Now, the idea behind this is to give students some of the language that they may use then in the first 3 writing activity. Okay, so in the first 3 writing activity, students are going to write a self-introduction paragraph. You can decide how long students are going to write for. That's important. You can negotiate with the class if you want to. There's a title, Interesting Things About Me, and there's a starting sentence. We don't call this topic sentence at the moment until students learn that terminology in Unit 2. There are many interesting things about me that you may not know. Now, the idea here is that students will just free write about the topic and try and write as many words as they can within the set time. And there is a space at the back of the book for students to record how many words that they write during the 3 writing activities. The idea here is as they go through the textbook, they should be writing more words by the time they get to the later units. There's a chance for them to share their free writes with their partner in the classroom. If you're teaching this online, you can put them in a breakout room and they can work together to read out their writing, or if they've typed, they can just share their screen and show their writing to one another. Now, in the book, I've tried to build in a little bit of online research for students so that they can get some ideas about what people may include in a self-introduction. So here, students may think about what people usually write about and go online and see if they can find in English a self-introduction from a famous person and think about the topics that they include in the writing. Now, here as teacher, you may want to search for some examples to help your students, post the links for them to take a look, or you may want to give them free rein to go onto the internet and find some information. They could also do this searching in Japanese and then look at the topics that people may write about in a self-introduction. There are some examples in the book that students may use to look for information. And then this will help them with their next free writing activity. So in free writing 2, they've done a little bit of research online. They've thought about other topics that they could write about. So here they're going to write a second free write about themselves, and they're going to try and include some of these new things that they found out on the internet. Maybe they're going to write about high school or where they were born. Maybe they didn't include that in the first free writing activity. Once again, they record how many words they've written, and they can share in the classroom or in breakout rooms what they have written. And it's a way of getting students to learn about each other in the first few lessons. You can change the groups so that students will be reading each other's free writes in different groups so they can learn more about one another. Okay, so in the final free write activity, students are going to write about a partner. So here, before they do that, they think about 10 questions that they may want to ask a partner. You can put them in pairs in the classroom, or once again, pair breakout rooms. They interview one another, they take notes as they listen, and then they've got a set time to write up that information. So the idea here with the fluency units is to give students lots of chance for writing, but not focus so much on structure and accuracy, because that will come in the next unit, in unit 2. And the final task in the fluency units is a reflection where they can look back and think about what they've learned, what they wrote about, and how many words they wrote in the set times that you have given them for free writing activity 1, 2, and 3. Now, you may want to get your students to buy a B5 notebook and do it the old way, where they're writing with a pen or pencil in their notebooks. Or maybe if you're doing this electronically, you may want to use something like Google Docs, where students are going to keep a document. I teach using Microsoft Teams online, so I could create a class notebook for this, and then students can write in their class notebook electronically. And then they could maybe share that with each other via a Word document or Google Doc. Now, in the even units, we're going to focus on accuracy. The odd units are going to focus on fluency. And in the even units, there will be a model paragraph that students will get to analyze. Before we get to the model paragraph, there's a preview activity. Once again, it's pictures related to the model paragraph. This one is about a talent competition and a guitar player. So students, once again, look at the pictures and try and think of vocabulary by sharing ideas about what these pictures are. And then they're going to match the sentences to the pictures. And these sentences come from the model paragraph. And here they get a chance to think about what the story may be. I'm sorry, this is where my free sample PDF ends that I got from the Cengage website. So now I'm going to be using the book to explain the rest of it. So once students do the getting started activity, they're going to learn what a narrative paragraph is. They're going to read an example model paragraph about the story, about the talent competition story. And then there are focus questions to analyze the structure of the paragraph. For example, what is the topic? What is the main idea? What time phrases does the writer use in this narrative paragraph? There are comprehension questions. There are questions that focus on the concluding sentence as well. After that, students are introduced to a mind mapping activity based on a great memory, and they go back to the model paragraph to fill the mind map that the writer will have used before writing the talent competition paragraph. They can then discuss the mind map together in pairs, and then they can make their own mind map based on their great memories. Maybe they can think of 4 memories and do a mind map and create lots of information on the page. Once again, if you're teaching in the classroom, students can do this in their notebook. If you're teaching online, you could put students into groups to share a whiteboard in Zoom, or maybe they can write on a piece of paper and then just show to the screen during the lesson when you put them into a breakout room. Okay, so after that, we begin draft writing. Students are going to write their own narrative paragraph based on the model. And we're going to start off by looking at the plan. Once again, the model paragraph gives all of the information that students need. All of the examples come from the model paragraph. And the first task is to show the plan that the writer used when writing the paragraph about the talent competition. And students can then think about the stages or the events in their great memory and plan the chronological event as the story unfolds, the narrative story unfolds. Then we focus on topic sentence. There are 4 example topic sentences based on the model paragraph. Students can then try and write their own topic sentence based on their great memory, the one they're going to write about. Then we look at the supporting sentences in the model paragraph. Students will analyze this, and then they'll begin to build their own supports. And then looking back at the model paragraph, how does it conclude? And they can think of ways that they could conclude their narrative paragraph. And then they write their draft. Now, section E in the accuracy units is called completing the draft. And here they look at another model paragraph, but this one has 10 mistakes in it. Now, when I wrote the textbook, I used my years of experience teaching Japanese students writing, and I've collected a lot of the mistakes that students will make when writing a paragraph, and I've put them in here. So students can work together in groups and try to find the mistakes in the paragraph in the book. Now, students are not going to find all of the mistakes. It's not, the task isn't there for them to find all of the 10, but if they can find some of them, and then different groups find others, when you feedback in your class and get the answers from students, they can understand the 10 mistakes that are made in this draft. Then they can look at their draft that they've made, their narrative paragraph, and they can check to see if they've made a similar mistake. They can share with a partner and look at their partner's draft and check if the partner has made these mistakes. And then they could submit their draft, maybe for you to assess. Now, regarding assessment of the course, I'm not sure how you're going to assess this, but at the back of the book, there are example assignments based on each of the rhetorical modes. So if you think about the first pair rhetorical mode, the narrative paragraph, Unit 1 is about fluency and Unit 2 is about accuracy. After 2 units, maybe one assessment task is to get your students to write a narrative paragraph. It can be different to the one they've done in class, and so that they're writing something new. And there are suggestions, as I said, in the back of the book about what assignments you could set students. You know, if they've written a great memory in class, they could go back to their mind map and choose one of the other 3 to do as an assessed piece of work. They can turn this into you in the classroom, or if you're teaching online, you can set an assignment based on Google Classroom or Teams or whatever you may be using. This is the structure of the book. So Unit 3 and Unit 4 work on a similar basis, Unit 5, Unit 6, and you'll notice as you go through, all of the different tasks are similar in the way that it's structured, so that students become familiar with what the fluency units are about and what the accuracy units are about. I hope you have a lot of fun teaching it. I taught this book a few years ago to my first year students, and I really enjoyed using it. And my students had particular fun trying to find the errors in section E of the accuracy paragraphs. And that helped them to develop their writing and to look for errors in their own writing. If you do have any questions while using the book, please feel free to contact me. You can find my details readily available online, or I'm sure Jennifer will let you know my email address. All right, thank you very much.